Do you struggle lining up weird shaped objects on your laser? There's a lot of different ways to align items in the laser for engraving. Custom jigs, add-on cameras, etc., but we never seem to do anything like the Main Street folks do. Either we didn't know what we were doing at the time, or sometimes we just thought, hey, there's got to be an easier way. We've tried several different ways, and we wanted to share what's worked for us. So I'm going to show you several different projects and how we line them up in just a few short minutes, so stay tuned. To start out with, we're engraving a charcuterie board, and this one's pretty simple. We start off by getting some rough measurements. Since the board is a rectangle on one end, it's pretty easy. We measure the area left to right we feel like the engraving would nicely fit in, and then the height. Now we run our laser and light burn in metric, so we got this really cool tape measure from FastCap that reads in inches and millimeters. It's handy when you're switching back and forth between machines. We also use a metric sewing tape, which works good on weird shapes and round items. So after getting some rough measurements, we'll have the laser burn registration marks on some tape we've applied to the sheet of metal we have laying in the base of the laser. So we lay it out in Lightburn, our laser software, and have the laser draw a box of the right side of the object we're going to engrave. We're using really low power just to mark the tape where we will set the object. This rectangle will make sure our piece is aligned and square with the laser itself. It is important not to move the laser head once you've done this. First off, we need to set the focus from the laser head to the workpiece. We opted for a manual focus machine as it gives us more flexibility and allows us to push the limits on some things. So I rotate the vertical bed activator. Yeah, it's just the knob that raises the bed up and down, but vertical bed activator sounds a lot cooler. Then we take the Precision Focusing Adjustment Tool, or PFAT for short. Yeah, it's just a piece of acrylic that helps us set the bed height. Then I'm just lining up the bottom and the right side of the wood to the marks we lasered earlier. Pretty simple stuff. As a double check, to make sure that I don't screw up the settings in Lightburn, I tell it to frame what it's going to engrave. So it runs a box around the area it will laser. I know none of you've probably ever made a mistake like that, but we've roasted quite a few hot dogs over the workpieces I've ruined in the past, so I like to check. Then we hit go and the laser does its thing, and that's it. Here's a bonus tip. We often will oil our boards before we laser them with our board butter. Be sure and check out that video on how we make that. But by applying finish first, the soot from the laser wipes off easily with a little alcohol, and it keeps it from staining the grain on most of the wood. I know some folks tape over the area or they sand it afterwards. This is just how we do it, and it saves us time. Okay, well, let's jump to a more complicated item to engrave. We make these speed loaders on our CNC. We offer many ways to engrave these things. As you can tell, it can be pretty rough to try and guess where to line things up, so let's look at that process. First, we export the shape from our CNC software to an SVG file, which we pull straight into Lightburn. It is already the right size and shows us all the various shapes that make up the design. Then we overlay the artwork and text where we want on the object, being able to match curves and fit the artwork into weird tight places wherever we want. The black lines are the shapes, and the red items are what will actually get lasered on the item. So just like the last time, we will start off by lasering the shape onto our masking tape on the steel bed of the laser. We could set up standardized jigs and placements, but we switch gears a lot during a single day. Seldom do we ever run hundreds of items in a row, usually one at a time. So this has been the easiest for us. So just like the last time, we have to adjust the height of the work in relation to the laser head by using the vertical activator and checking it with our Space Age vertical precision piece of plastic. Then again, we line up the object with the lines we've lasered on the bed of the machine. I will test frame the design for the inscription at the top, and we get ready to run it. Incidentally, We named our laser Smaug after the dragon in The Lord of the Rings. It just felt appropriate, I guess, because at the time we also had a laser on our CNC. It does sometimes act alive and have a mind of its own. I sometimes call it by a different name, but this is a family show, so I'm not going to tell you what that is. Any of you guys ever name your machines? Leave a comment below. Okay, let's look at how to make a jig for multiple small items. In this example, we're going to laser 12 items at a time. They're small and they'll blow around on the bed, so we need to make a jig to hold them in place and make it easy to lay it out. In this case, everything is a rectangle and easy to measure, so we lay it out with rectangles inside of a large rectangle. We will first cut a jig from plywood and then mark our laser bed for the jig to set, then lay it on there. I also print the settings for the item on the jig as a reminder in case I change the artwork down the road, but use the same item. I then put a few magnets on it to hold it to the steel bed. Here's another quick example. We recently got some aluminum business cards we wanted to engrave. We'd repeated the same process as before. Without the jig, these things just blew around the machine, even with my air turned way down. The motion from the laser head was enough to move them around. So as most of you know, Lightburn will burn things in the order of layers you set up. In this case, we have a logo graphic and then I have separate text. So it will burn the logo first, then go back and do the text. So no matter what the shape is, this process works well for us. Not a lot of fiddling around and measuring and doing math. Math is pretty hard after lunch. Anyway, it gives us repeatable results every time. You know, as long as I don't screw something up. We are using more charcoal than project wood these days to cook our hot dogs, so something's working for us. Hey, if you found this helpful, we sure would appreciate it if you'd like or comment below. Let us know your favorite way of wrestling these items. And hey, we'd really appreciate you subscribing to our channel if you think we can bring some value to your workshop. So, until next time, get out there and make something.